Happy Thankful Thursday, everyone. So glad that you made it to another Thursday. As you know, this week has been rough. Just life has been lifing, and the world has been changing, and so many people just did not make it to today, and quite a few special people didn't make it. So it's a lot to take in. It is a lot to take in, but that is always the first thing that we are thankful for, that you're still here. Still here. So for those of us that are still here and want to keep going or need something to keep us going, I got you. You guys see the rain clouds behind me? We're going to try to do this before it starts pouring, but I think we got some time. But I figured now's a good time for a story. We haven't had a story in a little while. Have you guys ever heard the story of 3 Feet from Gold? It is in quite a few books that I've seen and read and stuff, but it's always a wonderful story, and I heard it and I was like, wow, I haven't heard that in a long time, but it's right on time. It is right on time. So, story time. Once upon a time, there was a miner, and he heard of the gold rush. So he said, I'm going to get everything together, get all this equipment and everything, and I'm going to go out there and see what this is about, see if I can strike gold. So he heads out and he starts digging, and sure enough, he strikes gold. And it's all good. And like in today's terms, we would say cars, money, clothes, all that good stuff, because he keeps hitting gold. It is wonderful. And even the people around him, he starts to share and all this good stuff. And so some time goes by, and one day he goes out and he's digging, and there's not as much gold. He's like, okay, it's still gold, still got something, right? So he goes the next day and he's digging, and there's even less gold. A couple weeks go by, and all of a sudden there is no more gold. He's like, I guess that's it. Pack it up, we're done. He didn't try to keep digging. He wasn't concerned about it. He got what he wanted. He had everything he wanted. So he gave it up and took all his equipment to a junkyard. I like to think he took it to Fred Sanford. But he took it to a junkyard and was like, you know what, I'm through with it. And Fred was like, look, you had all this stuff. Where were you? What were you doing? What's going on and stuff? And the miner told him, I was digging for gold. I struck gold. I got what I could, and I got out of there. So there's nothing else left out there. And the junkyard man was like, you sure? He's like, pretty sure. I dug everything up. I'm done. I just want to sell the stuff and get going. Gives him his money. He gets on his way, and junkyard man says, you know what? Maybe there's something still out there, but he went about it a different way. He consults a mining engineer and says, hey, I want you to go look at this site for me. The dude said that, he struck gold and everything, but all of a sudden there's nothing else there. And he was like, I wonder if, it's really true that there's nothing there, or maybe I can still put this stuff to good use. Engineer goes out there and says, you know what? He finally comes back with the report, and he goes, you know what? Let me show you something. They go out to the site, and the engineer says 3 feet to the left. Junkyard man was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you telling me here? What's happening and stuff? If you dig 3 feet to the left, you'll have everything you ever need. That's where it all is. And so the junkyard man took all the equipment, put his back into it, put some work into it, and sure enough, he hit the biggest gold vein you ever seen. It was 3 feet to the left the whole time. And so he lived happily ever after. And of course, the miner was probably somewhere like with his jaw dropped, like, you kidding me? You serious? Was that close? And what? Oh well. But miner thought it was done and over with. Junkyard guy lives happily ever after with all his money. The end. But lessons from the story, right? Obviously, the first good one is, look, no matter what is going on and how much you try or how much you think there's nothing left or whatever, maybe it's just that you need to dig 3 feet to the left, because you really could be that close to your breakthrough, to that change, to whatever it is that you're wanting and needing. You just got to hold on a second and just give it another try. maybe dig a little to the left. That's the obvious one, right? But now you got to go through the characters, right? What did you learn from the miner? Well, I would say that the miner had the ambition, the gumption and guts to do something that nobody else really was going to do or had the guts to do, right? Sometimes it's like that. You just got to go for it. You get all your stuff together, you do what you got to do, and you believe that you're going to strike gold, and you go dig until you strike gold. And that's great. That is wonderful. But what do you do when the gold runs out? Do you give up and be like, that's it? No. Let's try something else, right? Because you never know what the next big thing is for you. So you don't necessarily have to give up, and that is where you start to learn the lessons from the junk guy, right? What lessons did you learn from him? I would say literally, one man's junk is another man's treasure. But that is also to say, if you are applying it to looking at other people and what they're doing, good or bad, if you watch other people and how they handle things and what they're going through and all that, it is a mark of the wise that you can learn without having to go through it. Nobody said you had to experience everything just for you to get the lesson and the knowledge and all that. If you watch carefully, take notes, and see what they did wrong or what can be done better, that's exactly what the junk guy did. He went and consulted a mining engineer instead of just, hey, I think it's here, we're gonna dig here. You can get lucky. But if you plan for it, if you study, if you prepare, victory loves preparation. So the junkyard guy is the one that 3 feet to the left, he hit it big, and didn't have to worry about anything the rest of his life. So all that to say, keep going. Make sure you are prepared for what you want. Sometimes you get lucky, and that's a blessing. Learn to accept your blessings. But learn from everything and keep going. So that is the story. That is your Thankful Thursday. And just to put it all together for you, and acknowledge those who have passed, that really just, some hard things to take right there. It kind of aches. So Malcolm Jamal Warner passed. If you know him, he is Theo from The Cosby Show and so many other things. But his story relates to this because he was 13 when he struck it big. Cosby Show was his thing, right? But after Cosby Show was done, what was left? That was the end of his little bit of gold, or at least we thought that was the end. Some people didn't know that he went on to do other things, or he can and was capable of doing other things. He has a group called Miles Long. He plays the bass guitar. They're like a jazz, funk, and spoken word group, which is really cool. You should check it out. They say he actually named his guitar Justine, if you get that reference. So that is pretty cool. And then even Ozzy Osbourne, he passed, and he started with Black Sabbath. That was a group. And when the group was kind of done and over with, kind of fizzled out, he wanted to do his own thing, and he did. That was his next, that was his 3 feet. He went to the next thing. His solo career was amazing, right? And we know, like, he really struck it gold with that, right? But then he went on to the next thing, another 3 feet over, and he had a successful reality show. He never really stopped performing like that, but he just kept doing his thing. And even Hulk Hogan, even though he kind of fizzled out at the end, no matter how you feel about him and what he believes, when he got into wrestling, it took some time. It took a lot of time until he signed with the WWF. And then that was like, wrestling was just getting it started, getting popular and all that. So he became the face of wrestling, especially when he beat the Iron Sheik. So it was just a matter of time, a matter of moving a little bit to make sure that you strike gold. It was a matter of, keep going until you do it. So no matter what, he is the face of wrestling. You cannot mention WWF, WWE, like we wouldn't know or have seen as much or seen it change into what it is. had it not been for him, so, or what he contributed to it. So everybody has something. Everybody has their 3 feet over. So 3 feet over is your next talent, that next thing you want to explore, and you never know if it's gold. So keep going. I hope that you guys are, as much as you're taking all of this in, make sure you take time for yourself to balance it out. The thunder and everything is really going. I am getting ready to go in the house, but keep going. A very, very happy and thankful Thursday to you. See you next time.